Hi, this is Johnny. I'm going to see if I could replace the monitor with the older arcade arcade one up Countercade. This is the 40th anniversary Generation 2, and this one have a video card that on the left side the screen is not as good if you watch it from the left side, and I want to replace the one that the DigDug. That one, the left side, the right side, up and down, they all look good. But with this one, it have 4 games. It does have DigDug. So the DigDug only have 2 games, and this one have 4 games. We have Pac-Man, Galaga, DigDug, and there's another one called Pac-Man Plus or something. So I want to keep this one, and I like the way this arcade cabinet look, and it's smaller and have 4 games. So I don't want it to mod this one if I could help it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mod the DigDug cabinet to maybe like a pinball, and then Centipede I'm going to mod it for Raspberry Pi 4 or Raspberry Pi 3, so I could play vertical game, and then DigDug I'm gonna use it to mod it for pinball, which I'm going to replace the monitor completely, so that the pinball game will be able to play on this system. So I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward this. I find out that this is also a 40 pin, like this one over here. But the thing is that this one, it turned out that it have a car here, and this car is also a 40 pin. If you look at it, is actually a 40 pin here. And so what I want to do is take this car out and take this system and move it to that over there and the joystick, and see if this will work on that monitor and Pac-Man game and the game com, and move it over here and see if it work on this screen. So if it work, then I'm gonna swap. I'm gonna take the board out and take the monitor out because it's the same size. Take that monitor and move it to Mrs. Pac-Man, and then move the DigDug. So in other words, one of the monitor I'm not going to use. I'm just going to mod it completely to a totally different like Android pinball machine. So there's 2 monitor I'm not going to be using. One of them I'm going to use using a special adapter, which is the Centipede, and so I'm going to keep the monitor. So it turned out that if you wanted to mod the Mrs. Pac-Man, for example, and you don't want the game, you like the small factory, the Gen2, but you want to mod it. So if you could, I'm gonna see if we could find this car on the eBay. If we could find this, then only thing you need to do is buy this plus this cable, and then you could plug into adapter, and then you can mod it. So that's one way to do it. So if this swap work, then we've also found a solution to which video card you could buy that will work with the Gen 2. So you can mod it to Raspberry Pi, mod it to whatever you want. Alright, so I'm going to fast forward and start taking this apart and swap this around so that we can make this happen. Okay, the transfer is successful, but the problem is this this monitor, the graphic does not support the video card that come with Pac-Man 40th anniversary. So as you can see, it's all washed up. So if you look directly at it, you can't see nothing. So this video card, this monitor, apparently the one that came with Pac-Man, the monitor is better than the, I guess the graphic is more supported to the video card that I put in here, because the video card, as you can see, it looked good it looked okay sideways, but if you look straight at it, you can't really see anything. It's like defeat the purpose of it. So by swapping the Pac-Man with a different car, it's not gonna work with the older model of the Pac-Man. I mean the older model of the Generation 8. So by swapping it, it did not make it better, it actually make it worse. So these attempts fail, but just letting you know, those of you who are thinking about doing it, I went and did it, and just to show you that it did not work well. And plus the cable is so short, I have to put the joystick in the back because this wire here is very short, so I cannot put the joystick to the other side. And plus this cabin is because the cable up there is just a lot higher. So this wire, if this cable was a little bit lower, then you might reach, but it's higher, so you cannot reach. The cable line is too short. So I got that plug in. It does plug into 40 pin. It's just not compatible with the video card. I guess the video card on the newer model support the video card, and it's not compatible, another one. But it does plug in. As you can see, it does work. So should we go ahead and try the other one, see if it make any difference? Let's go ahead and look at the other one. See, since we already moved it over, let's try the other one and see how well the other one look, because apparently this one it failed. So let's look at the bigger joystick and a bigger it's a special adapter. See if that make this monitor work with the DigDug. I mean, not this one. This one work with DigDug. All right. Let's see what happened. We put the DigDug on Mrs. Pac-Man and see if a screen any better. So by moving the arcade for DigDug, the older model, to the newer monitor, it worked. Okay. And it worked, and it had the same issue. So if you was to look at the monitor on the left, you have the same issue like Mrs. Pac-Man, but it does work. And you go to the right, it's fine, and the top is fine. So apparently this video card will work, the older model will work. Sorry about the glare from the back. This one seemed to work fine, but this monitor will work with a different, it doesn't matter which video card you throw at it, it works. So its only thing bad is that when you come here, you can't really see it, and that's what a lot of people complain about the new monitor. This one is fine on the right, but still is very blurry, and the left is, you could see much better. It doesn't have the double, but the problem is by changing the video card, the front does not work. So by swapping the Pac-Man to Mrs. Pac-Man, Pac-Man, not Mrs. Pac-Man, but Pac-Man DigDug from Gen 2, this is what it looked like using the old monitor of Gen 1. So, but Gen 2 will handle the Gen 1 controller. Okay, so that's the result. That's what conclusion I got. All right, so hopefully this helped. So Generation 2 monitor will not work on Generation 1. which, so that means I can replace. So that means I'm going to have to mod this this Mrs. Pac-Man as well as I do with this one. I'm going to have to merge both of them. Alright, thank you for watching. So now the next question is, okay, if you want to mod this to a Raspberry Pi using the monitor that come with it. So the only thing you have to do is you could tilt this horizontal instead of vertically. So you don't have problem from the viewing angle from the left. But if you don't mind looking straight at it and you're fine with this viewing angle, then let's see if we could mod this and keep the monitor and change it to a Raspberry Pi. So I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward this, and I'm gonna replace the stock PCB board of DigDug and replace it with Raspberry Pi and see if the monitor will work or not. Okay. So this is a Wolfstan's image, which is vertical 128 gigabyte. I believe it's the best one that I have seen so far. It also have track mode, so it boot up into track mode. Now, if you're using a Pac-Man's Generation 2 monitor to mod this, make sure if it come out upside down, you need to flip it. Display underscore rotation equal 2 to rotate in the correct direction, because when I first started this was upside down, so I want to rotate 180 degree to go in this direction, so I have to put display underscore rotate equal 2. It doesn't come with that in the config.txt, so you have to add that into the config.txt to get this thing working. Now, I got it figured out how to use the Gen2 to work, to use the original display, and without having to buy another monitor, another word. But you will have to buy two cards. One of the cards that I'm using is from, if you notice the keyboard is real big because I'm using the Gen1. There's an adapter in there that you could plug it in, and that will make this the same adapter you use for Generation 2, that Generation 1, sorry, the older model. Let's do older model, new model. That way I won't get confused between the older model. We figured out, someone on YouTube figured out which display video card you need to use to make old model work. The new model, nobody had talked about how to get the original monitor to work. So since I was doing the difference between the older model, newer model, I was trying to put the Mrs. Pac-Man into DigDug using DigDug display, because the display doesn't have the glare on the left. Turned out it did not work. Okay, turned out it make it worse. But by taking DigDug and move it to here, everything's work. The display accepted the older model video card, but the newer model video card that you move it to the old DigDug, it didn't work. Okay, so check that video out. It show you that I tested and didn't work pretty much. Now this one I have to probably, okay, this one is a track mode, so you could pretty much play any game here. So let's see, we could go to arcade. Now I haven't set up the controller, so I'm not sure why from the box that the controller will work, but I'm using the Xbox controller right now. I haven't cut the wood yet. I need to go ahead and cut the wood. I want to make sure it works first before I went and do this. So I will have to cut the wood and then cut some hole and put in my new joystick on this and try to keep it as Mrs. Pac-Man as possible. And I want to make it where it boot up to Mrs. Pac-Man in the beginning of the game, and then you get to pick okay, so I'm playing Galaga 88, so let's try that one. So this is Whoopsan, if I pronounce it, Woof, and then OZ. This is his image. Now I haven't done anything. I don't know the game is gonna be upside down. Nope, game is white. Is correct. So by rotating, everything will rotate in the correct. All right. Now I might have to go to fix the sound and fix my joystick because my joystick and my sound are not working with this this configuration. So I need to do that so that way it will work. Okay, but I'm just showing you that if you use this, the original monitor from the newer model, which is Generation 2, you could do it, but you have to buy the correct video card and a special adapter. So we're going to turn this off, and we are going to rotate this, and then we could look at it and see what kind of video card that I have plugged in back here. Okay, so let me go ahead and plug. Let me move this over here. Unplug the power. Plug the video card. Plug the speaker. So we could move the Raspberry Pi over here, and so we could just focus on this one. Okay. Now this one used the original power that came with the older model. Okay, now the newer model, let me try to plug the newer model power in, see if it make any difference using the newer model power, because I don't know does newer model have enough power to give this enough juice. It doesn't fit. Okay, so if you was to use a newer model, which is the Generation 2, Pac-Man's plug will not go in here, so you will also have to buy another power. So I have to I have to give you the, also in the description, tell you which power to get, because this thing does not come with a power, and you're supposed to use the Generation 2 power that come with the countertop, but since we are using for Generation 1, so you will need this card. Okay, and what this card does, it convert this to you plug this to a Raspberry Pi, and then you plug this to somewhere in the middle to ground this. Okay, then you bring the cable over, which is the red one. You're gonna face the red one toward the left. So let's zoom this in. Okay, so you're gonna plug the cable from that to the red over here, and then the red cable, this one, the orange cable, you want to plug it against. You want to have it face this side too, on the left. This on the left, this on the left. Okay, and this piece I will give you in the description. So this one you want to mount it to some kind of metal, so ground it. Okay, now let's go ahead and unplug this, and let's look at it, and let's talk about what I did. Okay, this is what you get when you purchase from I think from eBay. Okay, this is what you get when you purchase this. I believe I got this from eBay. All right, and it doesn't come with any particular power. It just come with everything plugged in like this, and this is what you get. Okay. Now this normally work with the older model Countercade, which is Gen 1, Countercade Gen 1. But to make it work with Countercade Gen 2, you will have to have this special adapter. Okay. And this special adapter, I don't know, does it come with it come with the countertop Gen 1, okay, because using the same 40 pin. So let's bring that up closer and let's take that piece off so we could talk about which card that we need to make this work, because this came from, let's see if I can make this brighter. Alright, I have to use a flashlight, it's not bright enough. Okay, this card came with the older model that I stole from DigDug countertop. And so I was wondering, well, would the older model work on the newer monitor? The older model video game work on the new monitor, but not the other way around. Meaning that you cannot take the video game from Pac-Man and put it on DigDug. It just won't work. The monitor will not work. So, but if you take the old model, the video game, plug it into a new monitor, it work with this card. And plus Raspberry Pi will work with this card too. So we're going to take this off and we're going to look at the card, and we're going to go look at the eBay and see if we could find this card. If we could, then you can mod this like I just did. I put Raspberry Pi on this. But if you cannot find this card, then yeah, we're back to square one. Okay, so that means that we're back to square one, mean that we will have to find something that will make. But this is a 40 pin. Now to move this, you have to push the black thing up. Okay, you could push it up one at a time. Let me see if I could hold this and push up at the same time. So you push one side up, the other side up, gradually, little bit by little bit. So because I'm doing one hand, and then afterward, then that thing will come off. Okay. So this is the card you need in order to make the other card work, the video card work. Okay. So let's see if we could bring this closer and see if we could focus this better. Okay. So you will have to purchase this card called a XZG 1925. Okay. And this one came from the older model, generation 1, from RK1 up. So if you could get hold of this card, then you could use the old monitor and you could play Pac-Man. Okay, so that means I could keep that monitor in Mrs. Pac-Man and put Raspberry Pi on it without have to so this is the one I'll be using. Okay, and now this one will also work on the older monitor and the newer monitor. Okay, but that's the only way I could tell you. And then use a 40 pin. Okay, so I'm going to try to see if I could find this. If I could, I will put it on the description. If I cannot find it, I'll let you know that I cannot find it. But yeah, this is what make this thing work. It's adding this special card with the connection, okay, and then it will work. Then the new model monitor will work with Raspberry Pi. Alright, hope this helped. But if you have an old one that you don't use, that you already modded, and you want to use the new, you want to continue using the original monitor, then just plug this out from the old one and then just put it in and it will work. Okay, because I think the newer monitor, I know the left angle does not look great, but apparently this monitor is a little bit better than the older monitor. The graphic is more colorful than the older monitor. So this one is probably good to mod. You just need to put a new car in here and then it will look great. Alright, thank you for watching. Hopefully this helped. Later, man.